And the waving fragments of silicon can sure smell sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain.
All right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon Daylight interviews. Been a bit of time since we've done one of these, but we are here back again. And joining us this time around is Michaël Boyar of Team Run.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good to
And
hear.
you?
Good to hear. I think we're all doing, at least as far as like. Anyway, so how we like to get started is we like to get to know the people behind the games studio and all of that business. And we begin by asking this question: what got you interested in video games, both on a personal and a professional level?
At the personal level, I had a Nintendo Entertainment System at I was 4, I guess, and my uncle gave me my first PC at 5, I guess, also playing Prince of Persia, notably. I was always playing video games, and it's still the same childhood dream. But yes, someday I will do video games. I will make video games. So I've always tried somehow. And during a period of unemployment, I tried more and more until I found the right tool. I tried Unity 3D and Game Maker also, and I ended up using Godot engine. But before that, it was very hard, and the tool really helped me. And I was doing some stuff. So professionally, I didn't start before 2018. 18, yes, because I was trying some stuff, but nothing very important and very well. I still work at I have still a day job, so it's still complicated for me to say I am a professional. But when I met my tattoo artist, he said to me that he was able to draw but not to code, and I say, yeah, but I can code and I can't draw, so let's do something together. So that's when we started to make games.
And I'm assuming that's the birth of Team Run here.
Exactly. We did a first small project, but it ended very badly because we weren't experienced enough. And then we started to do something very small that led to run the world in between our previous game. It was
Okay.
supposed to last 2 months, but it lasted 2 years.
Oh, that is the least surprising thing you could have told us. Once again, it may be cliche to comment about at this point, but every time we have somebody on this program or somebody's, they say, they're entering into a project that they think was going to take a few weeks, a few months, whatever, and ends up taking 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's always learning that the hard way, I guess. People told you, yes, don't overestimate your capacity, but everything falls in the same trap, I guess.
I mean, there's some variation there, but it's just unless you're doing something like on the level of I'd say game jam game, video games take a long time to develop. You know, even something that like Broken Lens here, which on the surface it doesn't look like the most complicated or extravagant video game in the universe. You are a team of 3 that you've told us, and that's
Yes.
not a lot of that's not a lot of manpower to make a project. That's often why a lot of these indie projects take a good amount of time. Plus, you're if I'm being clear here, you're still doing this part time, right?
Yes. I have one day dedicated to that on my week, and I work sometime at night.
And that's the other part of the equation here. It's like
not full time.
It's this is your spare time work. We've had a number. Once again, we've had a number of those kind of developers enter our shores, so to speak, and tell us, pretty much the same story. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's an unsurprising turn of events from our perspective. Anyway, with that in mind, what is Broken Lens here?
Broken Lens is basically a spot the difference game, but we wanted to be it as polished and as appealing as possible. And we wanted a relaxing game because our previous game is very stressful. So we wanted to go to the opposite and do something cozy, something calm that everyone could play.
Okay.
Basically, it's a hidden object spot the difference at its core.
I gotta admit, this might be the first one of these kinds of games we've covered on the program.
We've covered several hidden objects, but not spot the difference games.
Right. And there is a difference. It's a, I don't want to say a subtle one, but,
definitely a mechanical one on how you go about it.
Yeah. And
I guess it's a kind of niche game. It's not very common.
It's not so much that it's a very niche game. It's honestly kind of the opposite, how it, or at least how it's usually presented. Like, Spot the Difference stuff is usually presented as, I'm not sure if there's an official term for it, but the best I can come up with is mega casual. It's the kind of thing that would show up on, let's say, casual games portals like Big Fish or what have you.
Or it would be a mini game in something else, not its own game.
Yeah, or like a downloadable title on one of the, like the WiiWare back in the day or eShop today.
Yes, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Like I said, really the thing that's sticking out to me is, well, the presentation. You've actually crafted a whole narrative and quirky art style, a stylized art style. Once again, you don't really get that with either hidden object games or Spot the Difference games. They usually strive for, various shades of realistic. So I'm wondering, was there a particular impetus behind going abstract here?
Do you mean about the art style? The art style?
Yes.
Well, it's totally the art style from my tattoo artist. That's the kind of stuff he does on the skin of people. So we wanted to experience that in a game because our previous game was pixel art, and at the end of the project, he was tired of doing pixel art. He wanted to do actual drawing with his own style. So for us, it's common thing because I know well what he can do. But yeah, I think it shines because it's not very seen anywhere.
I certainly agree to that. It's like I've never seen a game quite like this. We've covered quite a few games in our tenure as broadcasters.
Indeed.
I'm like, and is there a narrative to go along with this game?
Yes, actually, it's more like I have the word in French. It's a red string, something that help you follow along the story between the levels. It was not intended at the start, but people asked for it, so we wanted to give a coherence. We wanted a lore to be extended on the whole level. So yes, there is a small story, and since we didn't want to add words, written words, or at least readable ones, we added the book page in order to add some information for the story, but still without some words. We wanted everyone to be able to play, even children. We thought about children when we developed the game.
Okay, and what is the story of Broken Lands?
Basically, this is you play as a little robot that's been struck by lightning, so it recharges his battery, but he has a lens on his visual sensor that has been broken, so he sees difference. And basically, the action you do in the game is you correct the image, some kind of correction algorithm that correct the image to have the full vision of what happened. So the robot will travel across different lands to get back to its, let's say, origin to understand what happens to him.
Once again, certainly more involved than your typical spot the difference game. In that, like usually when I've seen one of those, they don't really bother with a narrative. Maybe just at best a framing device.
Yeah, an excuse plot, if anything.
Yeah. Like, or and that's at the best of times. Usually, it's just like there are X amount of things different in picture X and picture Y. Can you find them all?
Mm-hmm.
With that in mind, you said you wanted to make this a game that everyone can play. How far does that philosophy go exactly? That is to say, are there any sort of time pressures here? Are there a limited amount of guesses you can do? Is there a hint system? Stuff like that.
Okay, so there is no game over and no timing. There is a in system that you can use every 200 seconds, and that's pretty much that. You can quit a level and come back at any time, and you keep your progression. And you unlock the next level with only 5 differences found. So if it's too hard for you, and if you don't find all the difference of the level, it's not that bad because you can still continue through the story.
Okay. That what I was expecting, actually, given the philosophy behind the game. Because, in spite of the reputation that these games may have, they can be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
If if you put restrictions on them, like if you can only guess a certain amount of time, or the big one is time pressure. Like you only have, say, a minute to or 30 seconds to input something. That literally changes the game.
Yes, we didn't want that at all because our previous game was a very this kind of game when you don't have the time to think, and we wanted really this one to be relaxing, cozy. You play as your own pace, and you don't have the rush. So if it's too hard, if you feel tired, you quit. You come back later. It's intended to be played by a small session. You, I don't think it's a good idea to do the whole game as one session because it's about maybe 8 hours, maybe 12.
Mm.
So not a good idea. So it's really to pick it between maybe other game session. You come down and to the calm with this game, with Broken Lands.
Yeah. It may depend on where one of these is going philosophically speaking. I know that's a bit weird to say, but once again, there are spot the difference games that aren't just have pressure applied, but can be downright competitive. There's a multiplayer version of this game where you have like 2 or 4, however many players, and the first one who can spot the difference win. So
I remember
if you're
there was
going the
an I
competitive,
Spy game back, like when my sister and I used to play that had like a time trial mode. We'd see who'd get
yeah,
the best time.
like I think there was like a WiiWare or a Wii U, like one of those consoles where they had a game literally called Spot the Difference, and it was like competitive multiplayer up to 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like, and that's like the complete opposite of what this game is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so thinking about it, this may be the most casual version of either hidden object or spot the difference I've seen ever. Like,
yes, probably. Speaking of multiplayer, we thought about that and we wanted it to be a local, cooperative multiplayer, so you can play with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And even it even leads us to the Twitch integration, Twitch integration mode that you can play with your viewer. For example, right now I'm looking at your Twitch channel, and we could totally make the audience interact with the
Yeah,
game.
I didn't have time to set that up. It's like
Okay,
I
guess
briefly saw it and was like, oh, I could probably turn that on.
if you want to try it, really simple, I guess. But
All right, let
maybe
me see about finishing this and see what all it needs.
sure. Because
live demonstration.
yes, when we put the first demo on the Steam event, we saw that Twitch streamers were playing it, and a lot of people in the chat wanted to play with them. So that's what's motivated us to integrate the Twitch mode.
Mm.
And we wanted the interaction to be not backseating, but really maybe some little push to help, or on the contrary to be
Oh, I
maybe
can't set
annoying.
this up because I'm not on the Twitch account for the show. I'm on my personal account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that will let the player discover it for it.
Yeah, it's fine. Sorry about that. I didn't know this was a thing, or else I would have got that set up sooner.
Oh well, I'm like, but I'm assuming that mode has proven to be popular with the streaming community.
I guess it is, yes. Usually, it's very well received.
Like,
It's surprising for the streamer, and the chat like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wanted to show you. It's okay.
Fortunate.
Mm-hmm. One of the many joys of having, a multi-account setup is stuff like this. You need to log into the account you're streaming from.
Right. Like, anyway, so how long has the game been out on Steam?
It's been a little more than 2 weeks now.
And how's it been faring so far?
Yeah, well, it's good, but it's not a million seller because we didn't add any fund for the marketing, so we did our best ourselves. So it's difficult to make it known, but for our ambition, I guess it's doing pretty well.
Well, I mean, that's good, or at least well enough to hear. Given, there are projects that don't achieve any success.
Mm-hmm.
Like, plus, like I know this game has had some marketing. Like it showed up in the Wholesome Direct this year, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yes, we had this luck with the chance to participate to the Wilson Direct, and I think that's a part of the success of the game because we could reach outside France, and that is not easy without those kind of events.
Indeed. I mean, that's where game personally. So it was, I suppose, well worth the investment, so to speak. Anyway, so are you looking to bring Broken Lens to more platforms?
Actually, yes, our previous game was ported on Nintendo Switch. And, it was perfect for this platform, and people asked us if we could put that on, let's say, a mobile, tablet, or even Nintendo Switch. It will depend on the success of the game and the fund we can get from the Steam sales, because we have to do that with an external contractor due to technical stuff with the engine. But we love that, yes, because it's a game that could be good on Switch. It's working well on Steam Deck, so why not?
Like, yeah, I could see this game working well enough on Switch, provided the how do I put the controls aren't jumbled up. Not so much the touchscreen, but well, we've covered a lot of hidden object games on the Nintendo Switch, and let's just say their implementation of the Joy-Cons leaves much to be desired.
Oh, I see.
Like,
well, for the Steam Deck, especially, I designed the control with gamepad, and I think it's honestly it's good when you play with gamepad. It may be sometimes even better than the mouse. So I guess it won't be a big challenge if I need to port that to the Nintendo Switch.
No, it definitely can work well. It's just that a lot of the time, the hidden object games are done by people who are lazy about it.
Or they
And
just use
therefore-
them as regular controllers and don't use any of the motion sensitivity stuff or whatever.
Even then, you want to be able to playable in modes that don't have the Joy-Cons detached, but
Yeah.
doing stuff like having a lockup if you tap too much, or
Mhm.
making it so that the cursor speed is too slow or not selectable or whatever, can be very frustrating on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I see.
I
And there are
Indeed.
even some that Twitch or some Switch ports that they don't even use the Switch's touchscreen if you have it undocked.
These two would know. They have covered a lot of hidden object games.
Okay.
And you relish it.
I guess it depends on the company that does the port, because and maybe they offer some kind of option that cost money, and so maybe developers want it to cost the minimum, so they don't invest in that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I suppose along those lines, have you given any consideration whether or not this game would work on, say, the PlayStation or the Xbox?
Honestly, I don't have any idea, because first of all, I don't know any external contractor that would do the job for those kind of console. And those console feels to me as more they want more technically advanced game, maybe. So I don't know if
You'd be surprised.
Oh yeah. I feel that there won't be any public for us on there, but
I guess it really depends, because I could see somebody getting this for their kid. Because with the PS5 and Xbox Series, as long as the console is downloaded to a profile that's already on there, any sub profiles can play that game. So, like, say mom or dad gets it, and then little Billy can play it on his own profile, and then stuff like that. So I guess it's also really depends on price at that point. You know?
Yeah, so I will have to think about that. But mostly, I feel by previous experience that the Nintendo Switch is the easiest to get on these days.
Yeah,
probably.
But maybe I'm wrong, and I hope that I can be proven wrong, and that the game could be on other platforms too.
right.
And putting the consoles aside, there was mention made of mobile. And I don't think there's any doubt that this game would mechanically, at the very least, work on, an iPad or a, Android phone, what have you. But, I suppose the question here is, do you know of anyone who has experience to bring these games to those platforms?
Well, originally I designed the game to be able to be played with a touchscreen. So I think that on the Steam Deck it's working. But the issue about mobile is optimization. It's the ecosystem. Like you have to deal with Google. You have to implement those library. You have to the game needs to be updated very often. Not that it shouldn't be on the PC, but it depends not only on the game but also on the library from Google. So on Android and even more on Apple, let's say iOS, it's difficult for a solo developer like me, because I'm doing all the code, to follow those kind of requirements. So I really want to do that, but for now I don't have any time for that. So that's a shame.
Indeed. Like, not to mention, the mobile market is a bit different than really any other market, in the sense that, you know, charging, let's say, $7 here for a full experience just isn't really a thing that's done on mobile these days.
At least hasn't been for a decade.
Yeah.
premium games are really hard to sell on those platforms. Everyone expect a free game or less than $1 game. So maybe the economics of this game would have to be redo, and that's another topic that
Well, I mean,
has time.
yeah, it's like either you stuff the game full of ads or you do the level pack method. I suppose, switching back to the game itself, how many boards or levels are there in Broken Lens?
There are 60.
Like,
And
and
by environment.
okay, and are there any plans to roll out more updates in terms of boards down the line, or is what's in the game now the total amount of levels and content this game will see?
Well, we talked about that with my graphical artist that is also the co-designer, and the story is complete that way with the 60 level. So in a way, we could totally stop right now. But yeah, you're right. The mechanics and the rhythm of the game could allow that we add some level packs, probably. But it's not
especially something like this,
decided.
challenge packs totally couldn't be out of the question. They don't necessarily have to be, in the story, just like some special challenge packs or different takes on levels or whatever.
Yeah, the systems are here, so we could totally do that, but it's not decided for now because we want to move on to other kind of game, I guess. So we'll have to see.
And I suppose that leads to at least my final question for you, and that is, what is your next project, if you can talk about it at this stage?
For now, nothing is decided. We want to spend the holidays first, and I want to try out some stuff on my own, on my side. My graphical artist, my Ancro Mechanic, has also side projects he wants to go on with. So probably we will talk about that in September, but for now, nothing in the pipe.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's not a bad idea at all. That's the kind of thing that helps avoid burnout. And well, let's see if my colleagues here have any further questions for you.
Are all these levels handcrafted, or like the differences like procedurally generated or anything like that?
No, everything is uncrafted because we thought that it would be very difficult to design an algorithm that would output something nice and cool to the eye. We wanted it to be beautiful and not somehow arranged in the form of a level. So my co-designer wanted it to be uncrafted. Yes.
Fair enough. And I think that's it from me. Alex, do you have anything?
No, I've been looking. It looks interesting. I guess the only thing is, have you ever considered the possibility of people trying to do a magic eye thing to make it easier? Because at first, with the line down the middle, I thought that's what it was. But I tried it and it doesn't work very well.
People talk to me about that. They said that it was too easy, those kind of game, because it was it was just you cross your eyes and then you see all the difference. Honestly, I tried. I can't do that, and people around me can't do that either. So I guess it's up to some people that are like mutants, maybe.
But yeah, it's probably too wide, and there aren't enough repeating patterns for it.
Right.
But it just occurred to me because of the way that it was set up. It kind of looked like it.
Yes, and even if it's possible, well, it's still in our game philosophy that if you are able to do that to win the game, no problem, we don't mind.
Good then. So I think we've covered everything we want to cover here. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule and being with us here today to talk about Broken Lens.
Yeah, sure. Maybe if I can add something, because it's
Go
some
ahead.
kind of news for today that the original soundtrack has been released today. So we couldn't hear the music during the during the show, but it's something that people enjoyed also the music. So if it interests people, the original soundtrack is available.
Is it
All right.
on what storefronts? Is it just like Spotify, Bandcamp?
I'm pretty sure it's okay for Steam, but it's supposed to arrive on Spotify and other platforms very soon, today or maybe tomorrow.
All right. So keep an eye out for that.
Indeed. So yeah, the game is Broken Lens. It is available now on the Steam platform for $6.99 USD, and the soundtrack is also available on Steam now for $3.99 USD. So be sure to pick up both today. All right, so that'll about do it for this installment of Fragments of Silicon, the Daylight interviews. Be sure to tune in next time for our typical Sunday review session. And until then, I shall wish you good gaming.